Hi, it's Rich with Rich Baum Photography, Sacramento, California, if you haven't heard that before. I just wanted to do a little tutorial on twilight editing. We're all getting into twilight photography, and I think this is something you should certainly consider adding to your repertoire and your services that you provide, because twilight photography not only will show that you can set your photos apart from other people's photos, but also it's a great way to make money. It is great income, and it is a large part of my income of my real estate photography, because I've come to sort of specialize in twilight photography. But I try to tell people there's nothing hidden, there's nothing scary. I try to demystify twilight photography, and I'll show you why in this tutorial. So sit back and I'll go through some images I just shot the other night, and you can see how I'm going to edit them. I'm going to try and talk a little bit about camera placement, composition, equipment, things like that, settings, and I'm going to try and really break it down really nice and simple for everyone. And, if you're advanced in real estate photography and twilights, you may not want to do this video, but if you're just getting into it and it's something you've been exploring or want to find out more about, please feel free to watch this tutorial. So let's just go into Lightroom and check out what I did last week. So we're in Lightroom CC 2018, and I use the classic version of Lightroom. I just find it is nothing new to me. It's what I'm used to. And if you haven't paid the money for the subscription yet, I suggest you do, because you'll get the latest edition of Photoshop and Lightroom all the time, and it's all about business. So what I want to do is, I've got my twilights here. I did 11 twilight shots from this house. And I don't say that everybody needs to do 11. You don't need to do any certain amount. I do a minimum of 4 up to, I've done 32 or 33. But what I want to show you here now is, I think that a large part of twilight photography is being prepared. So after I have shot the inside of the house, or before I shoot the inside, I will shoot the outside during the day. And I went and I got this shot, and I remember then, this is what I'm going to do for twilight. And so I have that in my head already. I know where I'm going to put my tripod, and I have it just in the back of my head. So later when I come back for the twilight shoot, and I do tend to shoot at 2 separate times, but that's just me. And so I'll shoot during the day, the house, and then I'll come back for twilight. But right now, twilights are actually happening about 4:45, 4:50, and I'm loving daylight savings time going goodbye. So I got this shot, I've got a little closer shot, and then I remember this, and I've got a little tighter shot here, and I'm just going through my day shots here, so I know what I'm going to be doing for twilight. Okay? And now let's get into twilight. Okay, so here is the first shot I have delivered. And actually, I played around with this, so it's not quite exactly as I delivered it. But I'm going to edit this fully for you. So I'm just going to now reset it to straight out of camera. And there you can see my straight out of camera shot might surprise you. It's not super bright, but when I add my full bump, it is going to really pop this whole picture. So let's look at the settings right now. I have all of these images are going to be ISO 100, 16 millimeters, or I think I actually used my tilt shift for the front yard shot, which is 17 millimeters. But I've got aperture 6.3, and I've got, here is the exterior shot at 1/8 of a second. So really simply, this is straight out of camera. All I'm going to do is go down here, and I'm going to do my full bump for my A7 III, which is just almost identical as my full bump for my A6000. So I just take these presets I make and just change them a little bit now. I might change them a little bit later. Okay, so I've got now my full bump is here, and I'm just going to increase my exposure. Okay. Now I'm going to do a little bit of playing here. I've got a little bit of dehaze, a little bit of vibrance, a little bit of saturation. Okay, so this area is looking really good. The sky's looking good, although it is a little pixelated now. That's going to go away. Okay, so what I need to do now is, it is a little bit early, and as you can see here, the pool, when it gets darker, really brightens up. But I've got to shoot some of my images before it's ready. That's how I get 11 images or more. And I'm just basically going to come here and I'm going to do my preset for pool water. Okay, a lot of people are always like, well, I know people that have said, oh, put a speed light in a Ziploc bag and throw it in the pool, or this and that, or pop a light on. I don't think you need to do all that. So I'm going to go into my local area adjustment brush, and I'm going to go to my preset for Twilight Water Blue. And that's just a little exposure, a little blue, little saturation, okay? And I'm just going to use my brush, and everybody should know how to use this brush. It's pretty, very common tool, and I'm just going to freehand it in here. Here we go. And I'm going to go a little bit over the, I'm not going completely in the lines, but as if you see here, hold on a sec, let me show my navigator. If you see here, I've gone over, so I'm just going to hit my Option key, and you can see it turns from positive X plus to negative, and I'm just going to take it out of there. So if you go overboard, you can do that, but I don't really care right now. I just want to get this going and show you. So I've painted it in, and you can also see exactly where you paint by doing the Show Selected Mask Overlay. And that shows me I've got it pretty good in here. I could do a little bit more in here, a little bit more in here. Okay. So what I've got to do there is now I'm going to also zoom in a little bit, and I'm just going to do a little bit here into the jacuzzi. And this will 9 out of 10 times suffice for if you need to get a little more color or pop in the pool. Don't go overboard though. You could easily go overboard. So I'm going to now lose that overlay and see what I got. I'm just going to now go bring up the exposure, a little more saturation, a little more blue. Actually, I'm going to go there, a little bit of yellow. And let me bring up my shadows in the pool. So that's just affecting what I just put in there. There we go. So that looks really nice. And I'm going to go up and I'm going to bring up my saturation overall a little bit more. And the sky looks really good. And I'm just now going to use my local area brush, and I'm going to use my Twilight brush in. And that is just a little bit of red or warmth and a little exposure, a little bit of saturation and whites. So I'm just going to go pop, pop here, pop, pop there. Give a little bit of like light painting, but I don't really do much light painting for real estate photography unless I have something I really need to do a knockout job on. Let's put a bit of light painting there. That's a little heavy, so I'm just going to hit my X again and then take that down a little bit. There we go. Just a touch, a little bit like there. Let's open this up and just put a little bit of touch there. There we go. Okay, so I'm very happy with that. Let's go full and look at it. Okay, and literally that would take about 2 minutes to do for me, and I could actually get in there really good, and I could use a little bit more painting in the pool water, but you can do, as I always say, as little or as much as you like. Let's go to the exterior shot, and I'm just going to actually pull up the raw image I did with this right here. No, this is the one. Okay, I'm going to reset it out of camera. I'm just going to use okay, the settings here are half a second, and same thing, 6:3. I'm using my tilt shift here because I wanted to get low and then shift up, and it gave me the perspective I liked, but I'm not going to really get into using a tilt shift right now. I'm just going to get into editing this. So let's go into my full bump. There we go. And that looks really nice. The only thing it's not doing here, now let's bring up our little bit of dehaze, a little bit of vibrance. Now let me increase the blue. I want to use this sky. So I'm just going to show you how I can massage the sky. I'm going to add a little more blue You can see it got bluer there. And take down the blue a little bit, dehaze. And here, my last thing I'm going to do is use my gradient filter, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of exposure. I'm going to do negative exposure, like half a stop, a little bit of saturation, and I'm going to bring this down in here, and I'm going to bring this into a little blue. There we go. And I'm going to take out a little bit of noise right here. There we go. And one thing I notice is if you look up here, let's get these, let's get this, there we go. It kind of, in Lightroom, I sometimes see a little bit of pixelation. So let's go one more here. Let's add a new one here, just the same thing. Bring it down from the top a little bit more blue, and a little bit more purple. There we go. And we can do now a little bit of painting in. Let's go into my Twilight brush in. There we go. Just a little bit there. There we go. A little bit in here. See, I'm just painting in a little bit. You want to be real subtle in here. You don't want to go overboard. And I'm going to then bring up, I don't want to see this house so much, so I'm just going to bring this over to about here. Get rid of that piece of concrete right there. There we go. Here we go. And you can even, for this, I'm just imagining this is actually just a little bit over there. So I'm just going to go my little clone tool in Lightroom, and there we go. And that is a fudge, so do that at your own risk, but I'm just imagining that it's in reality, it could look like it's back here a little bit. So I'm really happy with this, and that is more than good enough. And in the final image, I changed the color of this light to be a little bit more orange, but don't worry about it for this tutorial. Actually, you can see here, I changed it to orange, which I don't really want to go into in this video. Let's go into here, and let's go back into develop settings, and let's bring it out here so we can see what we're doing. Oh, this is a TIFF. I've already brought that into Photoshop. So let's just do the raw image. Let's just go really quick. Reset. Okay, there it is. I'm at 1.6 seconds. So it's pretty slow shutter speed. So I'm going to go full bump here, and I'm going to just bring down my gradient filter for my sky. Bring it down. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of the phone. Okay. And let's bring in this into blue a little bit, into that gradient filter, a little purple. Here we go. And maybe not so dark right there. There we go. And I could live with this. I'm just going to do a little bit of light painting. Twilight brush in here. And you can play around with the color. You can do different colors. There we go, a little bit there. And you see garbage cans back there. I probably took out the garbage cans in the finished product. Let me show you over here. Kind of darken that in there so I don't have them there. Okay, let's go into now this image really quick, and I'm just going to edit a couple more for you. I'm going to reset this. This is at 0.6 seconds. And there we go. I'm just going to go my full bump. There we go. I'm going to go now bring this down in exposure just a little bit. And I'm going to lose a little bit of this yellow and orange. So I just go here into my HSL, and I'm going to go take out a little bit of orange and a little bit of yellow saturation, and then bring the luminance down of the orange and the yellow. So you can see right there, it helped a little bit. Now I'm going to do my pool brush in here. I'm going to do my Twilight water blue and just get in there and paint that in. Okay, there we go. And I'm going really sloppy here, but if I wanted to, I could just erase right here. And that was pretty easy. I just want to show you. I want to demystify this. It's not hard. But for down here, this is a little bit different color. So actually I want to bring in a little bit of yellow into here. And that brought it more into this color that the pool actually is. You can see if I took it away, you can see it's kind of a purple blue. I'm just going to make this a little more like a green blue, aqua, I guess, something like that. Okay, now let's go over into here, this shot. I want to show you something cool. Here's the final shot, and one thing I want to show you is your shutter speed. You can play with it and get real nice, creamy, soft water. Now, you can go overboard on that, so you got to watch what you're doing, but here, I've got it at 3.2 seconds, and I think it looks really, really appropriate. So let's just go here and reset. You know what I have to get out of this one, because this is a TIFF also. This was edited finally, so I'm here for the final shot. Oh, I know what I did. I edited out the pool cleaner here. So let's just go here and reset. Let's go here and do our full bump. Here we go. Now I want to take out, I'm going to try my eyedropper tool here to see if I can get a better white balance. So my white balance eyedropper tool, let's just go right here. Oh, that helped a lot. I'm actually going to bring back a little bit of that warmth. But there you go. That really is nice. And you can see the pool shows up a lot better at night when it gets darker. And I'm going to paint this in. I'm going to go my Twilight color brush here. Let's bring this in here. There we go. Bam. A little bit there. Don't go overboard on this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take out a little bit of that red, little warmth. And there we go. I think I'm fine here. You know what? The yellow, it's a little bit heavy on the yellow. So let me bring down the orange and the yellow a little bit. You can see it. Mellow that out a little bit. Okay. And the next one here is, I'll do this last one. I like, where is it? This one, I think, here it is. This one. Oh, you know what? No. I think it's this one I want to do. This is what I want to do. I really like the color I got out of this. This one's a little bit warm, the other side. So this one, I'm just going to show you how I did it. I'm going to go reset it. And it's much warmer than I want it. Okay? So all I'm going to do over here, this is a greatest tool. Take your white balance eyedropper tool, click it. And then I'm going to put it over here on this carpet right here. I know is kind of blue-gray. So I'm just going to try and get a neutral, and look what happens. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I got a much better white balance. I'm going to actually bring a little more warmth into it, and there we go. So I've got my that there, and actually I'm going to go backwards a second. Let me give my full bump, and the full bump there, and that's great. I love it right there. So let me see now. I'm just going to, it's so fast and easy. You guys really got to believe me when I'm talking about this. So I'm just going to now take the blue saturation. I want to see if I can make this a little bit bluer. Now let me try the luminance. There we go. Let me try it again. A little bit of blue. Great. And if I wanted to, I could probably paint in a little bit of that Twilight blue water. But you know what? It's a little dark in there. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay? So there you have it. Let me do a vignette right here. Let me show you what we got. And there you go. I just want to show you that these Twilight shoots are really, really simple. I want to go over a few things, though, with you. Remember, let's just start at the front of the house when we're in the daytime, like right here. Let's just show this one. Okay, here's my daytime shot. I'm looking at this and I'm making mental notes. I got to make sure all the windows are open. All the lights are going to be on inside. I'm going to have the front light on here, front light on here. I want to make sure the driveway is clear. I want to make sure the water sprinklers are off. And that's just kind of the notes I make. Okay, and then I want to tell when I get closer to the time I'm going to shoot Twilight, like I will be there at about half an hour to 15 minutes to a half an hour. before actual sunset. And then I want to tell the owner, I want to say, like right here, hold on a second, let me get the picture. Right here, I'll tell the owner, I'll walk them outside and go, okay, we need the lights on in here, all these windows open, okay? Got that? I will say, go over here. We want to make sure, again, all the windows are open. Let's go in the backyard. I'll tell the owner that I need the pool on. I need the sweep out of the pool, or you can do what I did, and you can just do, you can Photoshop, clone out this pool sweep. I want to have everything on inside. You got to remind them that they may be seen. So if they are going to be planning on having dinner while you shoot, you can't have that happen. So you got to figure that out. You want to make sure that all the twinkle lights are on. I want to open these windows up here so I get light coming out. And that is really what it's all about. So, okay, so I hope I've shown you how I do it. And it has demystified it somewhat, it's not scary. You shouldn't be worried about it. You should definitely get out there and practice it. You can practice it on your own house and just get better at it. Get more prepared. That's a lot of it. It's preparing for the Twilight session, knowing what you're going to shoot. And the editing is pretty simple. I really show that you don't need to have all the extra lights. You don't need to do light painting. I'm saying if you want to do light painting, 2 thumbs up, go ahead and do it. But for me, I've come to the conclusion that single exposure is really what works best in my workflow and for my clients. Every so often I'll do a real high-end light painting shoot, but just for real estate photography, I think that this is more than good enough. I think it's really great, and I'm very happy to do these Twilights. So please remember, subscribe to Rich Baum YouTube channel. And use that Adorama link that helps me produce these free videos. Watch out for Shooting Spaces, a real estate photography podcast, and all that stuff will be in the show notes. So leave your comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave comments. I answer them all promptly if I can. And I'm back doing more videos in the off season this fall, this winter, and spring next year. So check it out and shoot better, shoot smarter, and have more fun and make some good money and go spend it on equipment and your family too. So Rich with Rich Baum Photography saying, we will catch you on the next video. Bye.